So we got another Darth Vader figure here. I like to collect Darth Vaders. Not sure why. Maybe it's because I was a kid when I watched Star Wars, the first trilogy, that is. Alright, so here we have an official product. It's a used one, though. I bought it online. I don't know when this came out. It's probably pretty old. But it's from Good Smile Company, and they have a series called Nendoroid. And so it's a super deformed Darth Vader. It looks pretty small. Okay. So, I'm sure there's plenty of other videos reviewing this thing. I'm just curious if there's a date on the actual box when this thing came out. There's licensing there, but no actual date. It's weird to have, like, collectibles with no sense of how old they are. Well, anyways, I guess you could always just look up, like, Nendoroid number 502 pre-order, and then just look at when those things happened. Hopefully everything's in here. Oh, well, this is interesting. In the back of the box is a graphic of, some stormtroopers and stuff like that. So, oh, no, it is part of the box, I think. It's almost a cool background, but it won't come out. So, I guess if you cut the box up, you'd have an interesting background, but, alright. So, we have some instructions. Here, so you can put the miniature Death Star on this stand with these little stand bits. It's got 4 sets of hands, 6 sets of hands, a lightsaber, and I guess this cape can come off as well. And it's just all friction fits. Alrighty. It's in Japanese, I'm guessing that's Japanese, and then English, of course. So this thing, it's weird, I don't see this on the diagram. This looks like a neck peg, actually. Well, let's hopefully figure out what that is for. So here's the good old stand. Let me get a different angle here. So this bigger one, I think, is actually to hold Darth. And then the little one is for the Death Star. Alright. So that probably goes into the back of Darth, I imagine. So I'm going to put, oh, this is interesting. The stand has 2 different size peg holes. This is quite large, and then this one fits this big stand. So then this, weird. Okay, interesting. Both of the stands fit into the smaller holes. There's nothing actually fitting into the large pegs. Peg holes, that is. Maybe they have a different action figure that uses the larger ones, but it's not this one. Alright, then we have a little blister pack. So we got the good old Death Star. It's painted just a gray, a lighter gray. I would say like 30% gray or something like that. Pretty decent details. Here's the little hole here. So being a ball, you can, adjust this at any angle you want, so that's kind of nice. Mess with that a little later. So, I see, the dual-handed lightsaber wielding here. So I'm going to guess maybe you can remove this, the red part of the lightsaber. Yeah, okay, so then you can put it into this thing here. Let's see if it's a tight fit or not. And I don't see any directionality, or is there? There is a little tooth in that hole. It's not a perfect hole. There's like a little T section, so maybe it is directional. Oh, I see. The reason being is, the front of Darth Vader's lightsaber is, Darth Vader's lightsaber is at an angle. So that's why it has like a little key to align that angle properly. Alright. So anyways, it's a good fit, by the way. Good friction fit. And so this one again, it has that little keyway. And there we go. It's a really small saber, of course. Alright. Here's his cape here. It's a hard, very hard plastic cape. I see. So it's got little ball pegs on it to I guess adjust the windblown effect. Interesting. Did not expect that. And then this cape here is just one solid piece if you don't care for the dynamics. But I see why they did give you two capes, because this one piece cape is trapping his arms in there. He can't get his arms outside. Alright, so his helmet here is the inside. It seems to be two pieces of plastic to hide that surface there. Oh, well that's interesting. The rear of his head is totally open. You would think they would have that blanked off. That's really strange, really. I don't think I've ever seen an action figure missing half of its head. Even like other Darth Vader figures, they always have the back half there. So that's odd. Okay. So the head itself, he's got some little gold, of course, a little silver on these little, I don't know what these are, these little protrusions. And then the eyes just seem to be totally opaque black. Alright. So there's his cape. So this is an extra neck peg, I'm guessing. As to why, I don't know. Again, this is used. Maybe the previous owner was just nice. Maybe these break easily, and so he gave me another one. Because if you look here, there's no accommodation to have another neck peg, I don't think. Right? So, alright. So his arm fell off, but I guess that shows us, you know, the articulation a little bit better. If we look in here, there's a ball, and then it's going to a hinge on the actual shoulder. So the hinge for the shoulder, and then the ball peg will move the whole shoulder up and down, or if I maybe twist it, you might be able to move forward and back. A little bit forward, a little bit back, a little bit of a butterfly action there. Alright, so then his upper arm is just a simple circular thing, and then his elbow has a hinge, and it bends about 90 degrees, and then his forearm is another big cylindrical peg. Alright, and then there's actually like a little recessed square, so I guess that's what holds his lightsaber there. Right, okay. Alright, so interesting. There's actually an angle on this arm. It's not like a 90-degree perpendicular, right? So I don't know. I guess that must make sense for certain types of posing. So all this stuff, you know, it's decent friction fit. This hand is on very tight. It's almost as if it was glued on there. Hopefully it's not. There we go. Maybe it's just a little stuck or something. I have a video on a copycat or a knockoff or a bootleg of the Nendoroid Boba Fett, and those things are extremely loose, all the joints. So I ended up using like sticky tack to make the joints work. This one doesn't have that problem because this is a real product, so it has to meet some sort of quality control standards. So the little leg here, he's got a hinge for the kneecap, and then I'm going to guess the foot is on a ball. Yep. Ball peg there. And then the thigh is probably a ball as well. Yeah, it might be hard to see on camera, but it is. I can see a ball sticking out and going into his thigh. But here, this cape as well, the inner robe is pretty hard plastic. It is slightly flexible around the edges, but here, it's very rigid. So I think if you bent that a lot, it would actually crack in half. Alright, anyways, his torso here has a, you know, rotating function. Oh, I see. Okay. So he could actually... Does this move? No, it doesn't. So even though it's a ball, because of the way his belt is pretty much flat, you can't pivot his... Or can you? I guess you can pivot it. It's just kind of weird looking. What happened there? Did that that gap wasn't there before. Alright, maybe it wasn't in the joint as well as it could have been. So I just pressed it hard and now it's tight again. Alright. So I'm going to put the dynamic cape on now. And it looks like there's 2 peg holes to hold the cape in place. There we go. Then we'll put his head back on. And then the helmet back on. So, you know, the neck joint, you can twist it around. Right now it's in the forward back, but if I twist it 90 degrees, then you should be able to get, you know, some head tilt. But not so much, unless you pull it off the peg a little bit. Well, but it starts to look a little weird, you know, coming off the peg that far, right? So for me, I think it makes sense to just have in the front to back position, or maybe at a slight angle. Let's see how that works. Yeah, not bad. All right. All right. So now this thing. So now with the dynamic cape, you can, you know, turn his arms and have them splay out a little bit. So like this saber arm. Shoulder's falling off. Yeah, alright. Naturally, I think a cloth cape would have just made this a whole lot easier. But for some reason, I just thought to go with this. Maybe I'll make a cloth cape on my own. Pretty easy to do. Alright, so now you see what's going on. You notice though with this little flexible cape, it doesn't cover the shoulder pads at all, which you just kind of grow to expect with other Darth Vader figures. So that's an issue. And also you can literally see it's longer than his legs. So it would actually be really hard for him to stand with the cape close to his back. You would have to push it out like that in order to clear the ground. Just a little observation there. Same with this one. Alright. Let's put him down there. Oh, interesting. So this actually helps him stand quite a bit. This little rear inner robe. I've kind of felt like he would naturally fall down, but he didn't. So taking a closer look at these other hands, we got like this force hand here. We have a fist. Okay, it's very cartoony for sure. We have the other hand to hold a saber, and a grip hand, and then the other hand fist, and then he's wearing, you know, the other two. So he's basically a pair of fists, a pair of force hands, or stop the hand, and then a pair of grip hands, and then he's got this little double, you know, he's got a double smack down the saber on you kind of hands. Alright. Now, let's see if we can get this guy on the stand, make this work properly. I'll get the Death Star out of the way. I don't know if you'd really ever want to have Darth Vader flying. Being a Jedi, he should be able to jump long distances or something at least. But, you know, he was never portrayed to doing that when he was an old Darth Vader. So now I'm having an issue here. This peg hole in this cape is really tight. Okay, it might actually be directional. Oh, this peg is actually a hexagon. So that makes life a little bit harder to get it in there, but I guess it keeps him from spinning on the peg. So if for some reason you did want him to be at a certain angle, that's probably why they have a hexagon there. But you see his arm came off pretty easily again. So let's pop that back. Now let's pop this cape here. And let's see if you can mount on this guy. And, you know, since this guy's so small, I think this stand actually will work pretty well. There's not much weight. Yeah, so you can pretty much have Darth in any position with this particular stand because he doesn't weigh much at all, and this stand is quite strong, so that's cool. And so it's got metal screws, so you can adjust that. In fact, I think I'm going to adjust this one because I kind of want to see if you can put him in a flying position. Maybe that's partially why they didn't have anything in the back of his head, just to keep him light, because they know that the weight of this helmet maybe would start to overpower the ability of that stand to hold. Alright. Interesting. So this stand has a rotating feature up here. I see. And then it's also a feature here for vertical rotation. So in fact, I probably want to put him over on this outer peg. So now he's like flying, and for some reason he has a miniature Death Star following him. I think that works. Alright. Let me get a spinning thing. Also, let me lower this camera height. Naturally, I think if you just like him in the stationary position, you want to use this one-piece cape. And I kind of feel like this double-handed smackdown thing would work with that. So maybe I'll actually come back and do that. But first, before I do that, I'm going to show you just a couple other Darth Vaders I've collected. This is a knockoff of a Bandai SH Figuarts. And it's alright, no major problems. It actually has red lenses, which is kind of cool. And then I actually made my own cape because it came with the hard plastic cape. So this is just a cleaning cloth for like sunglasses. And then I just, you know, made a half circle and I jammed it underneath there. Same with the inner robe. So that's a 1/12 scale or 6-inch figure. I think possibly my favorite one here is made by Hero Cross. So it's got the aluminum or some sort of die-cast metal body frame, and then these little plastic parts. So they use the same skeleton on different characters. So he's a little smaller than 12 scale deformed. And then I have this Egg Attack one. It's the hologram version. And I ended up painting the eyes black because the way they mold the eyes is a bit weird. And also this guy came with a plastic cape that totally deteriorated. And that's the way I bought it. So this is like a restoration project. And I just happen to have a golf shirt of a similar blue. This is the original inner robe for this Egg Attack one. But this golf shirt works for me. It's the same hue of blue for me. But you can naturally see Egg Attack is pretty big. So obviously space isn't a concern. It's pretty cool. There's an LED that lights up in this head and the chest piece, but I modified it. So you might want to watch the video on that if you want to see what I did to that guy. So I think that's all I'll show today. let me come back. I want to try him out with the these parts here. Give me a second. Alright, took a little fidgeting, but there he is with a double-handed grip there. Truthfully, the cape, it just doesn't want to really allow you to have the shoulders and the biceps join very well. So there's actually a big gap between the biceps and that shoulder joint, but it's pretty much impossible to see because the figure is black. So yeah, his arms are just jammed in there, but they're not actually really on the pegs of the shoulder, so just be mindful of that. But anyways, he doesn't need the stand at all, but that peg is in his back because it actually goes through the cape and is pegging into the back of his body there. So the one-piece cape doesn't have the two pegs like the multi-piece cape does. What I'm saying is the one-piece cape doesn't have these two pegs. It just has a hole, which it would probably actually sit there anyways, just resting, but I kind of wanted to use it just to see how it worked. Okay, well anyways, he's standing pretty nicely because the cape is kind of like a traffic cone. He just wants to stand that way, so overall it's alright. I mean, I wouldn't pay a premium for this because, you know, just by super deformed nature, it's not going to really allow much action posing abilities, you know, just tiny arms, tiny everything. It's really hard to pose these guys, but he definitely looks cool, you know. I like him. He looks like these caricatures behind, and I'm happy to have it. So alright, well thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time I get Darth Vader in. Bye bye.